Trauma-sensitive schools. It's defined as a safe zone, a place where students have a welcoming environment, a place where it buffers between students who have suffered trauma, who have suffered these external factors, while at the same time helping them understand and support their internal emotions so that they can succeed in school. I'm the founding principal of a newcomer school here in Houston, Texas. A school that's extremely diverse. A school that has 32 countries speaking 29 different languages. I wanted to create a space for students to feel good about themselves. Think about our students that have suffered traveling from Central America, coming to a country hoping for an opportunity. Think of the trauma that they've suffered from all of the poverty they've endured. Think about our students that have never met their parents because their parents came to this country when they were young children. Think about those children that are in refugee camps, not knowing if they're ever going to make it to another country and out of this place that they've called home forever. When I founded the Newcomer Center, I wanted a place for students to feel good. I want, as a principal, it matters. It matters to make sure that students feel safe. Think of yourself. Think of yourself in a situation where you have no control of what's going on. Think of a place where you don't know the country, you don't know the language, you don't know what to expect. And yet, we have so many of our children here in America in this situation. So it was important, if I was going to create a school designed specifically for refugee and immigrant children, I needed to make sure that our students felt good about themselves so that they can achieve their dreams of the future. So I decided to travel to Uganda. I went to Chingwali refugee camp, and I went alone. I didn't go with a group of people. I wanted to experience how do our children make it to this country not knowing what's going on, not knowing the language, not knowing the culture, not knowing what to expect. Was I frightened? Better believe I was. I was nervous. I was scared. I didn't know who was going to receive me on the other end. Not to mention, I wasn't staying in the capital city of Uganda. I wanted to travel to the remote villages. I wanted to go onto a refugee camp so that I can see for myself. You see, when you travel and you experience this, there's a different sense of understanding. When you actually experience this. So I decided then to visit, this is a group of students that didn't have any soccer balls. They were playing with awful balls that, I guess you can call them balls. So I went and I got some balls for them, and I wanted them to experience the hope. And they said, please, I want to go to America. I hear great things. And I said, you know what? One day, keep on dreaming, keep on hoping. And one day, you never know. I also taught a class on the refugee camp because I wanted to experience, how does this look like? How does it feel? So what I wanted to do is I wanted to create a school designed specifically for refugee and immigrant children, a place where we can have a we care, we trust, and we value. Because the principal matters when it comes to the culture of the school. Here's a photo of a police officer. I had a student one day tell me, why do we have police officers on our at school? Why do we have police officers at school? And I said to them, it's for us to be safe. And he said to me, police officers in my country are not good people. They also remind us of soldiers. Soldiers that tormented my family. Soldiers that came and shot my mom, shot my dad. So I wanted to make sure that when you create a school where students where you care and you trust them, everybody at that school has that opportunity, including the police officer. I don't need a police officer walking up and down the hallways, making sure that everything is great. I want them to engage, to talk to our students, find out what do they like, what do they need, how can we support them. And this is what you get. You get smiles, where students just love coming to school. You have to have a we care attitude. A we care attitude where students know that you care for what they've gone through. I remember walking down and I was waving, saying hello to all of my students at the beginning of the school year, or actually every morning. And I saw Sarah. She was a student from the Congo, and she was limping. I said to her, Sarah, come here. Have a seat. Let me see what's going on. I asked if I can take her tennis shoes off. When I took her tennis shoes off, she had bleeding blisters all along the edge of her toes. Her shoes were 2 sizes too small. You see, students who don't have an education in their country, they want to come to school every day. That's something that they don't have. And they're going to come any way possible. She came to school with bleeding blisters. Now, I told my secretary, go to the store, get me some open-toe shoes, get me some extra pair of tennis shoes, and I could have gotten her the help. We called the nurse. We could have gotten her the help that she needed, and we could have moved on. But instead, principals not only take care of the situation in hand now, the problems, but we look for long-term solutions. Solutions that we know are going to come up. We know these are going to happen again. So we created the Closet of Hope, a place where students can come and get gently used clothing and shoes. A place where they can come, not only themselves, but their families, because their families also matter. Because of this one incident, helping Sarah get some new shoes, because of this one incident, we were able to create the Closet of Hope, a place where students and families can get their clothes. Also, what ended up turning this to be is a place where we had basic needs. We also provided students with mental health. We provided them with group therapy, individual therapy, family therapy. We provided mentors. We provided free attorney consultations for the family. And yes, even financial assistance for our families. And let me tell you, that is a game changer. When kids know that you care about them, they are willing to do everything and anything to make sure that they are getting that support. The second thing is a we trust attitude. Now let me tell you about the we trust attitude. The we trust attitude is kids don't understand consequences. What we have to teach them is how they behave we have to teach them how to behave. Let's talk about a fight, for example. Students are normally suspended for a couple of days. I call that, the principal usually calls that the cool-off period, right? But actually, these kids are at home plotting to figure out how they're going to get revenge on that student, blasting him on social media. Instead, what we should do is teach them how to behave. So I created a circle of trust where we would bring our students in. So before they got suspended, I actually prevented suspensions to make sure that we talked about the situation, to ensure that we are teaching students how to solve problems without having to engage in a fight. And let me tell you, the process that we did, actually, we diminished the number of suspensions, the number of altercations by 90%, because students knew that we cared about them, everybody, from the principal all the way to that associate teacher that would walk in. And last is a we value attitude. We got to value diversity. We have to, it's a rich environment where we can learn from one another. I remember one day I would provide certificates. Make it a big deal. Make it as big as you want it, big or small. It doesn't matter. But I remember telling the student, good job for leveling up in English, for learning English. Good job for doing all of your homework in science class. And I remember telling Jose, good job for having less discipline this month. I didn't say no discipline, it was less, but that's something to celebrate about. Because kids matter, principals matter, teachers matter, and with all of us working together, all of us making sure that the kids feel good, they got what they need, I promise you, our kids will do more than they need to do to get those grades up, that student achievement that we all work so hard for. I can guarantee you that our kids can outperform any student if they know that we care about them. Remember, we care, we trust, and we value.